Say guys, welcome to another piece of content here on our hashtag channel Today's Cloud, and Pro Video pay homage to the 50,000 subscribers who we reached out a few days ago. And first of all, thank everyone who follows. Come on, follow the content, consume our content, for everyone who shares the content that we create here. Thank you very much. Thanks to you, we were able to reach this important goal that I could never imagine achieving 4 years ago when I started the channel. And my first video was on January 14th, 2020, and I'm going to repeat that topic today as it was. How do you create a trial account within the Azure? Since then, in those 4 years, a lot has changed. The process has become a little more difficult, and I will try to give you all the possible tips that can help optimize your chances of being able to create a trial account within Azure, so that you can do your laboratories there without you having a cost, that we know that some resources are expensive. It's great when we can use the trial account to be able to do that process. So let's go straight here. I want to show you what we need and where do we have to go to start all those steps that are necessary. So I always put as 3 fundamental items that we need in order to be able to make this creation okay. First point right, it's an email account, preferably a Microsoft account, an account Hotmail, an Outlook account. Any of these Microsoft accounts are easier accounts if you are able to complete your trial account process. The trial account, right? Microsoft has set some security standards over the years. Today, use artificial intelligence during the trial account creation process because around the world, many people create their trail accounts to be able to study only, and just like we do. But some people end up creating the ContraTrail for other purposes that are not educational purposes. Nice. So there are N reasons why people end up creating contracts to increase services. In what are not items that Microsoft would like to be used, there are things that they're not cool things to be made item illegal. So that's why more and more the process of creating an account betrayed or other betrayals we have too. For example, using P2, the process is more bureaucratized. Let's say that right then. That's why we have some factors that are very important. The official rule of account betrayed, what she said, that the person can create an account only once. Trial, that is the rule. Official, each person could create their trial account. The trial is valid for 30 days or when your credit expires. The credit is $200. So if I use the $200 in 5 days, my trial account will be disabled. My subscription will be disabled. 30 days ended and I didn't consume all the credit, my subscription disabled. 2. So those $200 help us a lot to set up different types of laboratories. As I said, only a trial account is the standard, but many times, depending on the way we are using it, can we create more than one trial account right throughout my teaching journey here, sharing knowledge with you from Azure. I've certainly created a few good dozens of. And how can we do it to create a second one or try to create a second account or other accounts as we need it? Everything. You can't repeat the data you've already used, okay? That's right. So I can't repeat my registration email. I can't repeat it, the registration number and not the credit card number, which are these 3 items that are required. Email, phone, credit card, so I can't repeat any of those items. By chance, I made an account. It will give an error with this same email because I already used it, that email. Then Microsoft will register. Following the standard Microsoft rule, you can only have one account. So I recommend whenever you create a new email account that you get another credit card. Do we have virtual credit cards that we can delete? The card is recreated. It will change the card number and also make you use another number from a telephone, a new chip, or a phone from a relative of yours. simply to be able to confirm your registration. Repeated any of the three items, the likelihood of your account not being approved, it's very big. And here's a first hint of the tips. Different from the standard that most people already know. The email account. Because today, mechanisms are being applied of artificial intelligence on top of the issue to validate if you are really human or you are a bot. And this is mainly about 2 points, right? Are you a bot or are you human? When you try to do the process, and from the experience that I have from the community of many people share with me what worked out, what didn't work, we are succeeding capturing this information and being able to concatenate this to try to understand a little more. When you use an account, an Outlook, a Hotmail, that was created recently. For example, if I create an account now, the possibility that I have denied it is very likely great. So my advice, use accounts that you already have, accounts that you already have email exchange. An account that has some activity isn't one, doesn't need one. Say it's 1 year old, not 5 years old, but you might have an account that you already had before a month, 2 months ago. So I already advise that you or me, we have students who are unable to afford it, to do the laboratory, then they create several email accounts and add some type of activity on those accounts, exchanging emails, something like that. And then every month they go, when creating a new study account, most of the time it works out, but not here. It's Microsoft's rule. I'm saying that people have tested in the community and have, that's right. What Microsoft puts in is just an account, okay? So you have some co-activity accounts, very new email accounts, generally ends up botting the process because it's an account that has no activity. And I'm going to give you another second tip, which I've generally tested here with some students in this email account, place security mechanisms, activate MFA, activate login by example, through Microsoft Authenticator, right? Use mechanisms that generally an account that it would be a bot. I'm not going to use it. The more human this account is, the easier it will be your possibilities, okay? So that's the detail related to the email account. This email account of mine here, to give you an idea, I created it back in December. When we were doing it here, the challenge is Jurassic Bull. It was one of the accounts of tests that I had here to do some validations, especially of right then, of do. So it was some of the settings that I used, that account was already there. Some email exchanges weren't very few, but it's an account that has an activity. I'm going to try with it. Rafa, if I use these tips that you gave, it is certain that my account will to be created? No, right? As I said, the Microsoft rule is 1. Here we are using some items which generally end up being released by Microsoft, but we're not sure if you are going to create for the first time. The probability of succeeding is very high, but then from this, you may have a little more difficulty. So I'm going to log in here with my account. Right, this here is my tftec 0 account 2 at outlook.com, and you'll see that she's asking for authenticator. For me, because as I said, I registered her, I didn't even remove the password from that account. This account is logging in directly through Authenticator because it's a way to leave the tell me a little more humanized and what we have done there the last few times, and there are, that's right. Note that I only have this email address, okay? So it was a little email exchange, but it's an account that has some activity and that it has existed there for approximately 2 months. So I believe this might help work out. It's not written in place. Is anyone okay, guys? These are just experiences that we present from our students and from this whole issue. It's important that you use the account in your email, write your name, my name, Raphael Andrade. I'm going to create an account with Raphael Andrade's card, and I'm going to enter my details. So the data must be complete given. It has to be the same of everything you are entering. And now here I come to the page. I left the link here in the comments, which is the page for us to create our trial account within Microsoft. Then we're going to click here on that little button, Start Free, and it will enter the screen where it will start asking me for information. First point he asked me to log. Super important point. Use the anonymous tab is personal use. The anonymous tab, regardless of the browser, that if you're going to use it, work with the anonymous tab. I'm working here with Edge. I generally like to work with Edge if you want to use Chrome, whatever it is, but use the anonymous tab, okay? I'm going to get the data from my account here, which is tftec02@autolook.com. I'm going to move forward. It's going to go through the login process for that account, isn't it? Tell me that I am logged in here on this side, and now it will ask for the standard data for you. And what country are you in? What is your first name, middle name, your email, the telephone? The telephone are also very important. The same thing I said, have you ever used the phone for the contract creation process? You can't use it the same phone. In this case here, I'm using a new chip, okay? A chip that I bought solely and exclusively. That's why this chip doesn't have any, I'm not even going to use it for other things. I simply enabled it to do this cadastre. The chip is also one of the forms, the zero telephone contact. It is one of the forms of validation of your identity when the chip was activated a short time ago, right? At least here in Brazil, this generally, it takes him one to receive a text message. So I prefer to ask him to call for me to give me my code. Okay, then I prefer to ask him to call and so on. I can get the code here in a slightly simpler way. I'm going to order it here for him to call me. And now I'm going to wait to see if the call will ring here to me on my phone. Look, it's calling here on the phone.
8, 7, 9. Once again, your code is 3, 9, 3.
Okay, validated. Here he is asking about the CNPJ. An account, my personal account. I don't need place CNPJ. Take care of the address information here. Because if we use autofill, if I click here, it will bring me several addresses. If I select any one from the addresses, he will exchange my data upstairs. So don't use autofill unless it's the same data, okay? A lot of people end up stopping by and forgetting. I'm going to pause here and I'm going to enter all my data and then I'm going to move forward here in the process. Then I added my address. I will mark here that I agree with all the information from contract. I'm going to click here on, and now we're going to the second part of verification. Save it to complete it. It's there with my information and I'm going to wait for it to do it the validation. He will validate with this data. Then he will ask for the card. Give me credit. Because why does he use his identity too? So the credit card must be your card. Enter the details correctly here related to your card. Then I'm going to take a break and fill in the card information. The address is fine, but the card is already a bit more confidential. Okay. I'm going to fill in everything and I'm going to click on the button here to try to do the process of validation. I filled in my card details and now I'm going to click here so that it tries to validate it on top of my card, and then I will know now in the next step if he's going to be able to create my account he attracts or not. Okay? That moment here, that is a more important moment. When he showed up here that he's setting up my account, it's because mine was okay. Betrayed account is being created. Okay, if here at that moment the information of that, for some reason he couldn't create his trial account, what's going to happen? I'm going to talk about that right away, okay? If he says he can't create a trial account, we have one more possibility. Just to give you an idea, okay, this week, 4 days ago, I created another trial account. With a new email address, I also created it with a new calling card and also with a new credit card. Exactly like that. And it passed. You saw that it has now passed again. Here on our team, other collaborators also did the process. So using these tips, today the process seems to be pretty smooth. It could be that tomorrow will change. 4 years ago when I shot this video too, it was different. But you saw that everything worked out here following these tips that I played beauty. So here we are already on we can click here to go to the portal and we will validate that it will already log in directly here to our portal. Right? Showing that first tab here, I'm not going to work on those of these items. I just want to show you one point. I'll go here alone. I can customize. I always like to change the language, to take it from Portuguese and put it here in English. Who is already there, used to taking classes with me, you know that. And what happens if, right, you made an error in your account? I'll give you one here. Okay, how do I know? Rafa. If my account is really activated, if he gave a message that configured his, tell me that you went to the portal, she will probably be right. But you can search here for subscriptions, and this format will appear here. Look, subscription. It has to appear like this. Okay, subscription one means it is a trial account, okay? And she's here with status of activate. She's activated this cost. She's not going to show up at the moment because you don't have a cost yet certain. There is still no cost. Here are a few minutes or even a few hours. You will see that you will receive a notification. We'll see the notification here stating your credit, which is a credit of $200 in the case of Brazilian reais. This amount will be converted and it will be approximately 970 reais, okay? If it's in English, if it's outside Brazil, if it's in the dollar, what language you're in working $200, you have 30 days to use those $200. It's something people can ask. Rafa, what happens when my $200 run out? Finished, okay, finalize the account. I need to remove my credit card. I need to do something, okay? Those messages that you're seeing here are standard messages because the subscription, it's still being provisioned. Okay, my resources are still being provisioned. Generally with F5, these messages will disappear, and in a little while you will to see that everything is going to work. What you can't is to transform that account into an account PS. You go. When the credit limit is exceeded or when the time is up, you will see that soon a little button will appear. It will appear here on the side of Microsoft Azure saying upgrade, okay? Don't upgrade. The upgrade will transform your account into PS and Go, and then I'm going to ask you to register your credit card there. Then you're going to be charged. If you don't ask to upgrade and don't do any of that process, it's all right. There won't be any problem. Rafa, okay. And if my account went wrong, as you said, I was there in the validation process from the account and the account went wrong. Is there anything I can do? You will log into the azure.com portal address with the same email account that you used during the process, okay? The same email account. You're going to hit the Azure screen, okay? You're going to hit that screen here. You're basically going to have a lieutenant and you're going to log in on a screen very similar to this one, but it will keep informing you that you don't have subscription, okay? It will say that you don't have any type of subscription, so you can log in and fall here on a screen that will generally be that home screen here. That you will to do it, you will not be able to create any type of resource if you come to a research group and he won't let him try to create the resource. He'll send a message right off the bat. You don't have any subscription. You need to have a subscription to create any resource. You're going to come here in the help menu. You're seeing here that you have that help here. Then you have the option to open your call here. How are we going to do it? You can put anything here. I'll put trial, account. I'll score a goal just for him to enable the call button here. So on those three dots here, you will click and you will have the option to create a support request. My case will be a little different from you. Why? Because I will always list a subscription because I already have it. You won't have a subscription. So here you can switch to subscription management. Note that probably for you, he may appear this option here that he can't find a subscription and everything is fine, right? You will not have a subscription. Here in summer, it won't make any difference. And here you can choose one of the options. The options, they are not exactly those that have to be chosen, but what to do that you get as close as possible so that your call falls on the right team. I'm going to post it here with purchase, login, and login problems. And here in the subtitle, I'm going to say that I'm having trouble logging into the account. Okay, I will make a step forward. It will provide some recommendations. You will not use these recommendations here. He will bring you back to the call. Go forward. Again, And then here you will fill in with the additional information. Is the error message okay? The error message at the time of creating the account? No, it has to be the message that you're not eligible. Oh, she sent a message that was unable to validate the credit card. Try another credit card, okay? Because that usually happens. Generally, you will open the call if you have guaranteed that all your information, they are correct, and yet your process has not been validated, right? You are not able to use Microsoft Edge 0. I never used that email account. The phone was never registered. My credit card credit as well. Then you open that call. And here you will put all the descriptions. Call goes to Microsoft. Probably some Microsoft engineer will answer. This is for you by email, by phone call. And what generally happens in most cases, he will ask you to do some identity validations. He may ask you share LinkedIn profile, social network profile, GitHub profile. Sometimes, if you even ask for documentation, you have to ask for some documentation. So that's the process. But today, on the day that I'm shooting the video here, in the last few days, we have since doing the process with all the steps that I brought you. The probability, it's a big deal for you to succeed, isn't it? We're not making a mistake. So I think this video will help a lot. Follow the tips I'm posting here. No, as I said, this is not written in any documentation, but it is something that we have done it, the community has done it, and it has worked out. Always use accounts for educational purposes. Don't use them for other purposes, because some few people who use it for illegal purposes end up harming those who really need it of this account to be able to study, to be able to develop. Personal beauty. 4 years later, so I'm here re-recording this class, which was my first content, here on the channel, #BreaksACloud. The process has changed a lot, and I hope that the video will continue to help the crowd. Then you need to create your trial accounts to be able to study here in Microsoft Azure. Tell me what you thought of the content. If you are not yet subscribed to channel, click here on the little button to subscribe. We have already surpassed 50,000 registered. Maybe soon we are hitting a mark of 100,000 registered. It would be very, very, very cool. And also, if you want to leave any suggestions about next content you want to see on the channel, comment here. Leave a comment about a next topic that you would like to see me bring here in theory and practice, showing in detail how this type of functionality service works here within Microsoft Edge. Personal beauty. I hope you enjoyed the content and the hashtag went off cloud.